What's up, film family? Welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott.
My name's Dion.
And get your thigh high boots, put on your skirt and your cape, because today we're doing Supergirl, DC's newest movie with what do you call it? Like the Man of Steel, the Woman of Steel? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I
I
think
don't think
so,
that's a thing.
actually.
Is it?
Maybe. It's probably been said.
Yeah. It
Like
has
maybe it's
been
a
now.
joke by another character. Yeah, exactly. It has been now.
Anyways, today on this episode, we're going to be talking about Supergirl. We're going to be getting into the family meeting where we discuss community thoughts. We're going to be getting into the deep dive where we give our opinions and thoughts, of course. And we're going to finish the episode with our 6 awards that we call the Filmmies. Make sure to stay tuned for that. But first, we got to salute the general and give our general thoughts. General thoughts.
General thoughts?
So, Dion, going into Supergirl, what'd you think?
Going in? Or what am I
Well,
or am I
what did you think of the movie? We'll talk about that later.
okay.
What are your expectations?
Honestly, I thought it was like a fun action movie, with a fresh take on Supergirl. I mean, we haven't really got much of Supergirl. We got like the CW show. And then there was
I
the
haven't watched
movie
that.
that came out. Yeah, and then this movie that came out in the 80s, I didn't watch that either.
Mm.
So I guess regardless of what I got, it would have been fresh to me because I haven't seen any of the previous content. But I guess what I say is in the depiction of her like being a drunk. You know what I mean? Her being kind
Mm.
of like and like the complete opposite of the way Superman is, especially in this portrayal of him. So I think it's way better than the online rating gives.
Oh
When
yeah.
I see that going forward. But what about you though? I don't know. How do you
No,
feel
I'm
about it?
I'm with the online rating. I did not like it. I
Okay.
I don't think it was terrible, but I do think it was pretty hollow and kind of boring. Honestly,
Mm,
it's got a pretty basic plot. You know, dog gets poisoned, need the antidote to save dog. That's fine. Having a basic plot. There's tons of movies with basic plots that I think are really good, but then the movie's got to bring it with something else, you know, and it didn't really get me with a ton of emotion or action or the comedy. Like it kind of tries to do all of those things, and I think it kind of just relies on the fact that it's a dog to kind of get that emotion because you know I'm a dog owner, so I'm like, yeah, you got to save your dog, but like there wasn't a ton of moments that really drove that home. There's really two big action moments in the movie. Other than that, there's not a ton. They kind of like even just do it in the background where you're not even seeing it. Uh, Comedy, there's some funny moments, but for the most part, nothing crazy. So like, if you're gonna have a basic plot and like not that, there's not a ton of like twists and turns. You got to bring it on the other stuff, and it didn't really. So I didn't love it.
that's fair. And did you have high expectations going in?
No,
Like what did
no,
you
I didn't.
yeah. And as far as like cause I figured I didn't know if we'd be split on this, but I was thinking back to like our Superman review and like it's relevant because it's the same it's the exact same world basically. And in Superman, what they did is like what they do in a lot of DC things where their formula is like we have our superhero and let's give him like three villains to fight in this movie instead of
Mm,
just like focusing on one. In their defense, Lex is kind of like that's kind of how he rolls because he actually can't fight Superman on his own, so he needs the help of like everybody usually when he goes against Superman. But into this, we don't really get that. They don't go too complex. We're trying to throw everyone in there just so hey, you know this villain, you know this villain, you know this villain. They're all going to be
mm.
in this movie. Come. Like they didn't do that. So I don't know how you feel about the way they handled that.
Well, speaking of the villain himself, I thought he was horrible. Like Krem,
Mm,
we got no backstory on the guy. He's just bad because he's bad.
yeah.
So I don't know what his motivations are, who he is, where he comes from, why he's doing this. I don't know anything about him. He's just the bad guy. And the only thing we really know about him is that he likes to eat. We see him at the first scene. He's like, "Is that pie? Give me the pie." And then he goes into
Yeah.
her ship, sees a bowl of cereal, starts eating it. And then he goes into the prison later and starts eating worms. So I'm like, okay, guy likes to eat. Other than that, I couldn't tell you a single thing about him. And to me, like you gotta make me care about a villain, even if they're doing, for the most part, they're doing irredeemable things. They're the bad guy, right? But like
Yeah.
they almost have to have some sort of not a redeeming quality, but something that's like, okay, I understand why they're doing this. You know, if they were
Hmm.
wronged in the past, or like they think this is right because this is what they were taught, or like they saw someone do this and they think it's a good idea, or like, or even if it's just like my motivation is I want to take over the world. That's as basic as it gets.
Yeah.
But we didn't even get that. I don't know why this guy's doing this.
Yeah, that's fair. And I guess I don't want to, because I guess we're kind of doing a non-spoiler thing, and we'll get into spoilers later. But yeah, I don't know. I hear you, but I don't know. Maybe my expectations were different, and like now both of us we've gone through we've gone through a journey of watching all the Marvel stuff and a lot of the DC stuff over the last literally like 15 years, basically. So like I don't know, like I think I have just different expectations with these movies now. Like I just literally don't expect much from them. And I think that's maybe
Mm,
why I was able to enjoy this, because I'm like, at the end of the day, like they're really just making these for kids. And like I don't think they're not trying to do like a Pixar thing where like they'll try to give you too much heart. And sometimes I think
hmm
back to the movies that we used to watch as kids. They didn't really have much either. I'm sure if I went back, there's a lot of those movies I probably wouldn't like that much. I'm like, simple plot, these villains are okay, the action's okay, maybe the CGI doesn't hold up. But so I kind of gave this movie the grace of like, I'm imagining I'm like a teenager again watching this movie. I'm like, yeah, this is fun. We obviously I can't completely ignore everything we've gone in the past, and this movie shouldn't too, because if you're making any kind of movie in a genre, you should at least know what's been out there. So like,
hmm
if you're gonna try to make a good movie, like let me try to elevate some aspect of it. But to me, this movie, like it just did all the things that you kind of expect from an action movie. So I think that's why I'm not that wasn't that disappointed by
See,
it.
that's fair. And like I said, like if something has a basic plot, and even if the villain is, like I said, I just want to take over the world, it's just a thirst for power thing, sure. But then what's the appeal of the movie? If it's not
Yeah,
plot, that's fine. It's got to be something. If
yeah,
it's really going to pull at your heart, or it's got crazy action, or it's really funny, or like there's got to be something. And to me, like there's what part what part of this movie was great?
yeah, no, it's fair. And obviously, I will get more into that in the deep dive, because
Yeah.
there is some things, but I don't want to spoil it.
You're
So if
right.
anyone's maybe watching this and they're like, okay, wait, let me go watch the movie first. I don't even know if anyone even do they click into a video. Maybe they do. So if someone's listening to this and
Maybe
like,
they do.
I actually do. I hear you, bro. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening. And go
Yeah.
watch the movie and then come back, and then we won't spoil it for you here. But yeah, we'll definitely get more into the, because there's some things I want to say. I just don't want to spoil it
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, and I don't want to yeah, we'll give a warning before we start getting into spoilers, and I don't want to sound like too much of a hater here, because there is some good stuff in this movie. And I'm going to
Mm,
talk about that in the deep dive, and a lot of it in my words too. A lot of it, you save for the best parts, the awards you're awarding the good stuff. So I'm not saying this movie was horrible. There was some good
yeah.
stuff in it. There was some fun stuff in it. But overall, I thought it was pretty poorly written and didn't have a great time. But I'm not too much of a hater. Don't worry. We'll get into the good stuff later on.
All right. Well, I
But
guess that means it's time.
that's time for the family meeting. Let's get into it.
I don't have friends. I got family.
All right. Welcome to the family meeting. This is where we ask questions online, get answers, talk about them. But before we get to that, I wanted to announce this is why I'm back. I had missed 2 weeks of the episode. Dion did great. He got his girlfriend in on one, his sister in on one. Thank you, Eloise and Jada, for covering for me. Really appreciate it. Great work on Toy Story, guys. Um, but I was busy welcoming the newest member of the film family to the world. My son. I am now a father. My little boy, his name is Kai, and it was amazing. It is amazing, and I'm back, but a
A
new man.
Hey, let's get the. Can we get the crowd in here? Is
Oh,
it an
true,
audience?
yeah.
Yeah,
Come on,
should have
crowd.
set that up. Come
Yeah?
on,
What's up with
you guys.
the
No reaction. That's
no
crazy.
reaction? Damn that.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go. Damn. Damn.
hey,
Alright.
hey, you know what? Hey, they delayed. They were very delayed on that. They took their time, but then they gave it to us. Thank you,
Oh
guys.
my
Appreciate
goodness. Yeah, I
the.
didn't realize there's that many people here, but it scared me a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Congrats, man. I mean, I already know. We've been talking about this offline, stuff like
yeah.
that. So, like, I'll say congrats again for the internet. So
Thank you.
that this isn't my first time, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
proud of you, man, and happy, excited for the journey you guys are going to be on, and wishing the best of
Appreciate it,
luck.
man. Uncle Dion
Hey,
on your new. A new uncle? Because
New title.
yeah,
Hmm?
you don't have any like nieces or nephews. No, you don't have any,
No,
right?
no, no, I
You're like
don't.
the
I'm the
oldest of
oldest
your
sibling.
siblings.
I am the
Yeah,
oldest
that's right.
sibling. Yeah, so
I guess
no,
that
no
doesn't
one yet.
necessarily mean you couldn't have
No,
aunts and
no,
uncles or
definitely doesn't.
nephew,
Yeah.
niece, and nephews, but now you
No,
have a little
exactly.
nephew.
I
Anyways,
don't know.
back to Supergirl. Well, I guess not even. We talked about DC as a whole. You actually threw this question up. It was a great question. You said, who do you want to see next on the DC big screen? Because we got Lobo in this movie. Actually, that's what I was gonna say. Kind of in the general thoughts when you had asked about like they didn't throw a whole bunch of villains. They
Yeah,
went that extra hero route with Lobo.
yeah. But the funny thing, he's not even a hero though.
Well, yeah,
He is a
anti-hero. I don't
villain.
know whatever he is. Is he?
Yeah, I
He's not
mean,
a villain.
he definitely kills a member of the Justice League if he needed to. Like if someone paid him enough. That's the thing. He's just like a
Sure,
bounty hunter. So he's bad in that sense. He'll do anything for money. I think that's a
fair.
villain.
In this movie, he's not a villain though.
Yeah, no. But if
He's definitely
someone put a
portrayed as the good
bounty,
guy.
yeah, if someone put a bounty on Supergirl though, then he'd try to kill her. So then he'd immediately like that's the thing. He can flip. He's kind of like Loki, I guess, or any of those. He could flip into a villain any second. So I guess yeah,
Mm.
anti-hero
So he's
sort
morally
of.
neutral. I would say
Yeah, basically.
that's fair. We'll talk more about him in the deep
Yeah, yeah.
dive. But so you put up a poll. You said, who do you want to see next on the DC big screen? We got Beast Boy, got 32% of the votes. Green Arrow with 18% of the votes. Raven with 14%, and Nightwing wins with 36%.
It's close.
That was on our Instagram. Very close. What? Go ahead. What do you think? What's your answer?
It's actually kind of tough, yo. I threw these up, and I because those are all four people that I would want to see. I think I lean towards Beast Boy. I think I lean towards Beast Boy because I think he never really. I mean, there was the Teen Titans show. I didn't watch it, but I think that would just be fun. I think it'd be very tough to cast, and you really have to sit down and discuss how we're gonna portray him because you don't want to fuck that up. Beast Boy is a pretty beloved character, especially from
Yeah.
that animated series.
Yeah. The casting that interests me. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There's no one that like really jumps out. I don't really know a lot of young and up and coming actors. Says the guy with a movie podcast.
I don't know why my mind just because we're Timmy guys. I'm imagining Timmy as
Is he
Beast
funny
Boy,
though?
but
Is he? He is
yeah, I
funny.
don't know.
He's funny.
Like I was
I
thinking,
don't-
like a Marty Supreme Beast Boy,
Yeah.
but Beast Boy wasn't that. Beast Boy wasn't cocky like that. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of like a funny character recently where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that let's just
Young.
have that dude do a Beast Boy. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing's coming to my head immediately.
No. Yeah, but
What
I
about you?
watched the Teen Titans growing up.
Okay.
That cartoon, and I loved it. And so that's why I kind of think like Raven and Beast Boy are kind of like tied a little bit together for
Yeah.
me. So like if you got one, you'd kind of get the other if it was a Teen Titans movie. Or yeah, I get a Teen Titans movie is basically what I'm saying. So like I think that too. And Beast Boy is my favorite Teen Titan just because he's super funny and his power
Yeah.
is super cool. Like there's just a
Oh,
lot of cool stuff
exactly.
you could do with that. But I mean, Green Arrow, like we both love the show Arrow from the CW. That was more like a darker and grounded approach to that.
Yeah.
This DC seems to be a little more like
Yeah. It
bright
wouldn't
and
be
fun.
that version. Yeah.
But I
it'd
mean,
probably
there's
be
that
like the
Clayface
comedic
movie
one.
coming out that's apparently pretty dark. So maybe they can do both.
Yeah, it depends what world you put it in. Do you put it in the Patton's Batman? He could fit in that world. But I don't know if he fits in the Superman world.
Yeah, I think they can make it work.
Yeah.
Raven's cool too. Like I said, if we get Teen Titans, then she'll be in there. Nightwing, I'm surprised that he won. I mean, because I was actually wondering too, like Pattinson's world, like you already have Batman, obviously. So like I think Nightwing would be a bit of a stretch there because he's so early in his Batman
Yeah.
journey that like you have to get a sidekick and then do this whole thing. Not that you couldn't do it, like they had Catwoman, but like Nightwing, like you gotta have a Batman first before you can have
Yeah.
a Nightwing. I feel like.
No, it's 100% true. Yeah, he's got to be more established. Yeah, he's in like the early stages of being Batman. So you're right. I think people just like Nightwing. I think that they're not even thinking about pairing up
Fair.
with Pattinson. They're just like, we just want to see Nightwing, which I think is completely fair. He's a fun character.
Yeah, no, I agree. And and in this DCU, we don't have a Batman yet. So
Yeah.
who is that Batman going to be? What kind of direction are they going to take with him? I feel like they are going to go comic accurate because they have been in the last two movies.
Yeah.
Like the Superman is this preppy, uptight, like everything's gung ho, happy guy. So like contrasting that with like a dark, gloomy Batman, I think totally that's why the Justice League works. I
Yeah.
think like as a whole. So I think they're gonna stick to that. So who's that Batman gonna be? Do you have Nightwing come in before that Batman? Does that really make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. That's good. What do you think from this? Like, what did you? Was it Beast Boy? Is what you would
Oh,
probably want?
yeah. Yeah, I think Beast Boy. Or Green
Yeah.
Arrow. I don't know. Green Arrow is actually pretty cool. He like as a whole, he's kind of lame. Like if you think of the Avengers, like Hawkeye is like the laughing stock of
Yeah.
the Avengers, but like I don't know, they made him cool in that show.
No, they really did. They really did. And just like the way he was just handling himself, like his moral compass, like his code that he lived by, basically, and how he handled stuff. It just they just made him interesting.
Yeah,
Honestly, shout out Stephen Amell. He's Canadian.
yeah. He's a wrestling fan too, eh? Big
Yeah,
wrestling
he is.
guy.
You know what's crazy? I actually met. This is like a side tangent, but not because we're talking about him. I met his manager when I went to
Oh,
this. I went to this. What's it called? I went to this movie event where people were pitching their short films or whatever, and I got to talk to this guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a talent agent," and everyone's like, "Oh, what's your big claim to fame? Like, who did you sign?" He's like, "You guys ever heard of that show Arrow?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I found Stephen Amell and I signed him to my deal, and like we got him hooked into that show." And I was like, yo, I loved that show. I was just like geeking
yeah.
out for a bit. I was like, have I heard
Okay.
of the show Arrow? Come on, dog. That was like that was one of my favorite shows.
Felicity
I was like,
Smoke? Come
that's
on
what I'm
now.
saying, bro. I was like, you discovered Stephen Amell? I was like, that's awesome, bro.
Okay, cool. Did we
Side tangent.
I didn't throw anything on Reddit. Do we have anything from Reddit this week or is
Oh,
it just the
yeah,
poll?
yeah, same question. Same question. There's a couple answers here. Some people were so we got I'll read them out. Fluffy Data Dogs said, I would love Nightwing. We need a different already established Batman. So first, he basically said what you're saying. Like if he was a little bit older first, then we'd get Nightwing in there. And we got two people that also said, like that same guy said Satana. Like I don't know if you know that character Satana, like the one she's like kind of like a magician. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
Satana.
Yeah,
No.
never heard of her. She's in. Have you ever
I
seen
feel like
the
I
show Young Justice?
no, I haven't seen it, but I think of she's in Injustice, right? The game?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, yeah. I know from that. Yeah.
Because that was a lot of people said that too. I don't know if that's just we reached a specific pocket of the internet, but a lot of people were saying Satana. We got a Pigeon Bone said Satana. Another guy said Plastic Man. Who was it? Blue Jester 12 said Plastic Man. I've never even heard of Plastic Man. You heard of Plastic Man?
I feel like the name sounds familiar, but I don't really know what he does.
Yeah, I've never even heard of the name. Like, and that's the funny thing. Where I'm more of a DC guy than a Marvel, but I'm not like a deep cuts guy. Like, I'm not going into the like those really like the shallow characters. Like, I know the Justice League, and then we played the game, and then I watched the Young Justice show, which is like basically the teen version of just the Justice League, like the ones below. So that's how I got accustomed with some of those characters. But yeah, there's some good answers. The the last funny one I'll say is that Curse Snowman 5000 just said that it doesn't matter if the scripts continue to suck, which is fair. That's
Damn.
kind of like my thing with the whole Beast Boy
I mean,
thing, right? It's just how you handle it.
oh. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you have to have a good script, like or
Yeah,
like I
always.
said, or you gotta be crazy with the emotion or the action or like like there's gotta be something good. You can't just have everything
Yeah.
be mid and then turn it into a good movie. That's not how movies work.
No, 100%. But that's basically it. Everyone else are just giving their two pieces on scripts and stuff like that. So that's not really it. But yeah, thank you, Reddit. Thank you, Instagram, everyone with their feedback. Yeah, I was surprised too. I don't know. I actually didn't think Green Arrow would even be third. And
Mm.
I thought he'd be a little bit higher. But
So that'd be
and I thought
higher.
Beast Boy would win. I don't know.
Okay.
But he wasn't far off. That's for sure.
No. Well, that does it for the family meeting. Jumping into the deep dive, going into this movie. So why don't we start with Lobo? What'd you think of Lobo?
I'll say first off, I like Jason Momoa. Like I like
Mhm.
Jason Momoa as an actor. I think maybe some people don't. I don't think he's one of those actors that does the same thing. he does have a thing that he goes to though, and I think the way he played this Lobo character is similar to the way he played the villain in Fast Five. And I can't think of the other movie at the top of my head, but I feel like he's done like this version of himself, which is fine. There's a lot of people, actors that do that. They're like, I'm going to play this version of Denzel, or I'm going to be this version of, Matt Damon or whatever. Like, there's versions of them. But so when I got that, I was like, okay, I like this version of Jason Momoa playing a character, and I was surprised that he wasn't the main villain. Actually, I thought going to the movie he was going to be the main villain, and I think there's always a part of me, like I teased earlier, where I said that the formula in DC is just like throw a bunch of villains in there, and I don't think him having him in there made it distracting. I think it was just like a nice addition to have on the side, just to, at least for me, it was something familiar. Like maybe a lot of people don't even know who Lobo was, so to them, it's just might have been the same as Krem. It's like, I don't know who these villains are, so it's just kind of just another guy.
That's fair, but I will say like even Lobo gets more backstory than Krem does. It's not we get a huge flashback or a whole conversation, but even like when they see him in the bar for the first time and Kara tells Ruthie, she's like, oh, that's Lobo. He's like this immortal fighter that like kills for money and blah blah blah. So like boom, I have some context on the guy. You know what I mean? And he even says, he's like, when he's talking, I think it's to Ruthie. Oh, spoiler territory, by the way.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm about to, we're entering spoiler territory. Fair warning.
Big note.
So when Ruthie's in the prison later with Lobo and they're having this conversation, I think he says to her, he's like, I just kill for money. Like that's what I do. So like we get a little bit that there's his motivation. Boom. That's who this guy is. He kills for money. We didn't get that for Krem. Like it's not a lot, but we got something for Lobo.
Yeah, I will say with the Krem thing, the things that we do know about him is the fact that they're an all male tribe or whatever it is, and they're collecting girls so they can continue their race. So like we know that that's their evil motivation, is just to do that. I don't know what
why
specifically they're. Yeah, what?
Like why are they like that opening scene? He comes and like steals that guy's weapons. Is that like I thought it was gonna be like, oh, they're on the hunt across the universe. They're collecting all the best weapons so they could be the strongest force in the galaxy or something. They're just like, I'm just gonna take your weapons and then kill your family. Like that's just like bad because you're bad. I don't know. I feel like I need something.
I feel like to me, I just looked at them as like space Vikings. And like I feel like Vikings are pretty simple in the sense of like they're just like going around just tearing up places wherever they went, taking what they wanted. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I just looked at them. I was like, oh, they're just Vikings, basically, just space Vikings.
But how easy would it have been to just like say that?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100%. You're 100% right. I think you do make a good point of that because we didn't. You know what's funny about that? I go back and forth with the whole getting more context on our villains because I don't like it when they go too far where they almost like make us like sympathetic for them. Where it's like, just let me like boo the bad. I always bring it back to wrestling. Let me boo the bad guy and cheer the good guy. You know what I mean? Let me just get a solid villain that he comes out, we're all booing. You know what I mean? And then let another guy, let Daniel Bryan come out. We're all cheering. Yes, yes, yes. We want Daniel Bryan to win. I don't want to be like, you know what though? But Brock Lesnar has a family. You know what I mean? And like he's going through a tough time. It's like, no, fuck him. He's the bad guy. They did a good job of like, screw this guy. He's the bad guy. I think he's an awful guy. That's all they do. I think we could get more of their motive,
right?
But I just don't want the sympathy. I hate it when they get too sympathetic with the villains. Where it's just like, so are we not supposed to dislike anybody? What are we doing here? We're just like everyone's kind of just complicated, but they're fighting to the death. So who am I rooting for?
Yeah, that's fair, but I will say I think sometimes. It depends on the movie. I don't think in this movie it makes sense, but sometimes in the movie, I think that there is something to be said about like a nuanced villain where you can kind of understand from their side why they're doing what they're doing. And the movie doesn't necessarily decide for you who you're supposed to like and dislike. And you can kind of decide that for yourself. I do like when that is a thing.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a great point. I'm
Yeah.
not speaking for like every movie doesn't need that.
Right.
Every movie doesn't need a clear you have to hate this guy kind of thing, and this is your good guy. Cheer for them.
Hmm.
But I felt like it worked in this movie because just based off how this movie started and what he was doing throughout, I was like, there's no way they're gonna flip this and be like, you know what? His dad was abusive. I'm like, come on, this dude's killing. This dude's just killing people on will and collecting girls.
Yeah.
Like, like I don't want to hear it. Like, I that was my word. I was like, I don't want to get a flashback that like his dad was mean to him. I'm like, that's not.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that.
I don't even care at this point. Like
Yeah,
if that's the thing.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
so Lobo. So is it fair to say that you were kind of like Lobo was all right? Is that
No,
that was
I
kind
actually
of what I
liked
was getting?
him.
Okay,
I
okay.
liked him being there. I think he added so. I think he had more majority of the humor
Yeah,
to the movie. Add more of the comedic relief, and I was just kind of happy to see this character. It's
yeah,
just my love for the video game and being able to see someone that I liked in a
yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah. He was cool in Injustice. There's a Injustice was great. We played the crap out of that game.
Oh yeah, we
That was
did.
a fun game. But so yeah, Lobo. You make a good point about Jason Momoa. Kind of like I feel like Jason Momoa is just kind of playing himself in this movie. He's
Yeah,
just kind of like a little bit of a dickhead, obnoxious, kind of like funny guy. But I really like Lobo. I thought he was really cool. I think we got enough of him for like it was a perfect like appetizer. I feel like because I feel like he's gonna come back in some capacity. I don't know if he's gonna get his own movie or like what's gonna happen with him, but like I feel like that's not all we're gonna get. But like this movie wasn't about him, but we
hmm
still got enough that it wasn't just like a little cameo. Like he was still in there and like contributing, and we learned a little bit about him, but he was in and out nicely. I thought that was a good balance. We understand. Okay, he's a bounty hunter. We get a good feel for his personality. Like the intro at the bar, he's just kind of like he doesn't care about the fighting and everything, the prison scene, like his back and forth with Ruthie. I thought that was good, and we got two cool fights with him.
yeah.
I liked him.
No, I'm glad you agree. Yeah, because I liked him being in there too, and maybe he'll be in. That's the funny thing with him. Like maybe we'll see him again, and he'll be on the other side because Lex could offer him a lot of. Lex has got a lot of money.
Mm,
He could easily return, and they'll be like, "Oh, like I know that guy. He's Lobo. He helped me out." And he's like, "Not this time, Toots."
right? Yeah,
Lex opened his pocketbook, and you guys are on my hit list.
yeah.
So
You're right. That easily could be something that happens. Yeah, it's a good point. Um, so like, funny enough, like this movie is called Supergirl. It's about
yeah.
Supergirl. I don't really have really a lot of points about her. What did you think of her arc or her character? Just
Well,
Supergirl.
yeah, that was actually one of my questions I was gonna ask you, so it perfectly ties into me getting into this. Because I was gonna ask like what you thought of the direction that they went with her,
Mm.
and I had a lot. My intrigue immediately became when she had the cameo in the Superman movie, where I was like, okay, like again, the Supergirl that I know from like seeing the clips from the CW show. It's like she's a goody two shoes. She's like basically like Superman, kind of like a nerd, whatever it is. And then I've seen clips from the old and images from the old movie, and she was that too. So when she pulled up and she was kind of like a mess, and like she's like a drunk and stuff like that, I was like, okay, like this is I'm interested to see like what they do here. I think they missed out on an opportunity to, like you said, have more heart. Like there is heart in this in the sense of like you see why the way she is, but I think they could have tapped into something. I don't know exactly what. Like I always hate being that person. Like you guys should have done this better. All right, how? Well, give me a second to think about it. But
Yeah.
I like the direction that they went with just having her being a different contrast to Superman versus just bringing another goody two shoes version of her.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think she actually contrasts Superman really well, and I have a little more on that later. But I think that I agree that it is kind of a missed opportunity. Kind of like all the emotion for her comes in like that flashback when we see like
Yeah.
where she came from at Krypton and like that floating city, or I don't remember the
hmm
name of it, but and her parents and her journey to Earth and everything, and like okay, she got with the dog, so this is her only connection back home, and like so there is some stuff there, but I feel like the whole drunk thing kind of just goes away really quickly and like really
hmm
easily. Like she starts out, she's just loner, drunk, doing her own thing, and I guess that was kind of like her reasoning for like why she kept leaving Earth. Clark keeps trying to call her back, right? And she's like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not helping people. I'm just doing my own thing." But then like as soon as Ruthie enters that bar and like gets her sword stolen, she's like, "Oh, I got to go help this girl." So I'm like, how like nothing else happened before then that like you saw someone in distress and wanted to help them? Like how is this the first time that that happened? Because all the other times you said no, and for whatever reason, it's not, you didn't have any previous connection to Ruthie. You helped her because it was the right thing to do. Why haven't you been doing that before? Like that just didn't really make sense to me.
And that's a really good point, especially because like I could only imagine what Superman was saying as like, "Hey, the world is in danger. It might get split in half." You don't think that like that wouldn't
Yeah.
sober her up?
Yeah.
Like just random one girl, she's like, "Hey, my parents, my sword," and then she's like, "You know what? I gotta help her out." The whole entire, and she's been to Earth before too, so it's not
Yeah.
like it was that distant. She's seen these human beings and stuff like that, but I guess she never made one connection to any human to care. But the dog thing sobered her up pretty fast. But I guess what I would say, like the missed opportunity, now I'm thinking about it more and like hearing you give your points, is that there could have been more of a struggle. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not even necessarily like she has to like or have like a relapse of like, going back to alcohol, but just showing more emotional and like the struggle of like we saw the flashbacks, but like did we even really see her like get like emotional, like crying and like kind of like having more moments of that, like more of a struggle? You know what I mean? I just feel like there wasn't a lot of struggle. It was just like my dog, like I'm a drunk, I'm upset, my dog's in trouble, boom, sober.
Yeah.
Like
I
picture.
see. And I get that to a degree because they clearly make the connection like this is Crypto is her only companion right now, her only connection
Mm,
to home. She wanted to stay home. She loves her parents and all this stuff. So like when Crypto gets poisoned, that's a big deal. So she's like, no,
yeah.
I gotta lock in and save my dog. I get that. But like but when Ruthie comes into the bar, Crypto's there.
Yeah.
So there's no reason where she's like, no, I gotta help this girl. And that's where like I said like I feel like it was poorly written where it's like there's no reason for her to do this because it's just inconsistent with the character as we know her
Yeah.
right now as like she doesn't care about helping other people. She just is being like Clark's been asking her to do this
Mm,
and she's keeps saying no. But as soon as this girl is here, she's like, "Yep, I'm gonna help her out." And then like at the end when she's like, okay, now I'm helping people and I'm coming back to Earth and I'm gonna stay this time. What really like was it remembering her parent, like the flashback of home, like when she talked to Ruthie about it, was that like, I kind of like didn't think about this for a while, but like, no, my parents wanted me to do good and like maybe I should do that. Like, was it that? Because other than that, there wasn't like a big moment where it was like, what I've been doing has caused this consequence. So I've learned from that and now I'm going to start helping people. It just kind of happens.
yeah. No, that's true. And it's also interesting too. Like I wonder where the because I didn't know this about the whole. I mean, I guess there were spoilers also for Superman too. If you haven't seen Superman, I apologize, but I assume you've seen it. The whole thing that like Superman was sent to Earth to like to take it over, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
But her parents don't have that same view. They're like, "Be good," which is also
That's
kind of interesting
true.
too. Later, I
Yeah.
thought it made it seem like that whole race was just like, yeah, we just want to conquer, like you take over wherever you go. But for whatever reason, the cousin is like, nah, I'm not like my I'm not like my cousin. They'll just be good, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's actually a really good. I mean, maybe her parents didn't know that that's why they sent Kal-El out, why they sent
Yeah,
Clark,
maybe.
and then because it was years later, right? So because she's
Yeah,
like, I don't know, maybe like 16 or something when she
yeah,
leaves that planet. I don't remember how old she is, but so her like maybe her dad assumed like, yeah, Kal-El's already taken over Earth by now, so you go and join him and like do good with on the new Krypton. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like he's taken
yeah.
over and now that's new Krypton. Like do good with that, but like you're still enslaving humans. That's not what it really sounded like. But like
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know. They're
not.
two different. They're two different people. They had two different
Yeah,
goals for their kids that they sent away. I think that's
that's
fair.
true.
But I didn't even think of that. That is a good point, though.
Well, I was just thinking because I was like, is that what this Krypton was about? Like, were they? Was that like the philosophy of the whole planet, or was that literally it was just Superman's parents that had that thought process? So
Yeah.
that made me think. I was like, oh, her mom's saying be good. I was like, maybe that was just a Superman's parents thing. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
That's a good question.
again, yeah, go.
Or
So
go
you
ahead.
say?
So Ruthie, I liked Ruthie. I thought she was tough as hell. Like I love that she was a fighter at every turn. Like she never backed down. Super easy to root for. You talk about your character. You want to know if you can root for her or not. You can root for Ruthie.
Yeah.
She's a real one. The one thing I didn't like about, and it's not necessarily her character. I think it's more the writing of the story. I did not like the writing of it, which is funny
Mhm.
because I read that James Gunn actually the plan wasn't to do Supergirl right away, but
Mhm.
then he read this script and he loved it so much that he's like, "No, we got to do it right away." And I think is poorly written, but anyways, so like Ruthie in the opening scene, right? She comes out of her room, sees that Krem is there talking to her parents, and she's just like kind of frozen in the hallway. And but like the entire rest of the movie, she doesn't back down from a damn thing. Like,
Yeah.
why is how come she was frozen in that scene if the rest of the movie she's like she's a fighter? Why wouldn't she
Yeah.
fight? Like, I feel like you could have written it so that like she tries to fight Krem and like gets knocked out or
Yeah.
something, and he thinks that she's dead, and then she wakes up and like then she continues. But like that just seemed like they open her up as this character. She's kind of like just like a frozen kid that's nervous, and then the rest of the movie she's not backing down from anybody.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. It makes me well, I don't want to use that example. I was going to use an example from Stranger Things. Actually, I'll just say it blankly. You don't even have to watch Stranger Things to think about it. There's a character in Stranger Things that kind of goes through something like this. Like, there's the main Vecna, main bad guy, whatever it is, and she's frozen in a moment in coming and encountering him. And every time she comes to him, I'd say like the next 3 times she's frozen. So it's like, man, I got to get over this. But like
Mm-hmm.
with Ruthie, you're right. It's the inconsistent writing similar to the Supergirl, where it's like frozen, drunk, and then boom. Like now
Yeah.
I just broke free. It's like she goes from I can't do anything, and then she goes into that bar and just talking to all these monsters, being like, feeling like these guys are just gonna take that sword from me. You don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
like? You're not afraid of these guys? There's like twice your size. She just suddenly is no fear after watching her family get slaughtered. But it's just like I feel like there's got to be more struggle, and then she has to like get to like a moment where it's like, okay, you know what? Now maybe I can do it. But it's just like it's just a switch.
Or start her out as a fighter. Have her fight in that scene and lose. That's
Yeah,
fine. You know, she's a
yeah,
kid. It's fair that she doesn't really win in a lot of fights. The only one she does is like in that prison scene. She takes that dude out. That was
yeah.
actually really cool. I didn't even expect that, to be
No,
honest.
me
Like when
neither.
she was like, "Oh, it's just take me to Krem. Like I'll do whatever he wants. It's okay." Like I did think that that was an act so that she could get there and then maybe like
Yeah,
try to kill him. But then in that moment when she grabbed the guy in the prison and like took him out, I was like, "Oh snap, that was cool."
yeah,
So like just have her in that first scene, fight Krem, lose but not die, and then we're like, okay, this is just who she is. She's a fighter. That's fine. But you just have her frozen and then become a fighter, and it just makes no sense.
yeah. No, it's very fair. I guess again, it goes back to the inconsistent writing, and maybe I'll give James Gunn some credit just so in case we give him on the podcast one day, so I can. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you read a script and what comes out on like on screen, maybe
Is
things start
different.
to
That's fair.
change. Things do
That's
start to
fair.
change because someone reads something, he probably envisioned it completely different, and then the person that read it, that directed it, was just like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and he's like, "That's not what I saw in the paper." But yeah, do you
Yeah,
think?
that's fair. That's fair because yeah, true. Maybe it was that. Maybe Ruthie did fight back, and he's like, no, no, no. The director's like, no, no, it'll be so much better if you're just frozen here. Sorry,
Yeah.
you're wrong, Mr. Director, sir. Craig Gillespie, you're wrong. But like, but I other than that, I loved her as a character. I just thought she was really cool, easy to root for, a good fighter. She does, or like even like that opening scene, the way her family goes out was kind of lame, I will say. Just the fact that like her brother is just listening to the music, doesn't see the
Oh my
guy, just jumps
gosh.
out,
Yeah.
boo, and then that was kind of a lame way to go. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. A very lame way to go. Also, like, what's going on? Like, why is the brother just chilling in the bedroom? And like I just think that's just a sorry role of a character. So what's my character? You're gonna pop out. You're not gonna say a word in this entire movie. You're gonna get
Stabbed in
freaking
the
hit in the
back.
back, and that's it. Like what a
Yeah.
weird. I
Like
don't
those
know. Just
little
a weird
teeny
moment.
airplane headphones that he had on. There's an entire spaceship that just came down like right
Yeah,
next to
I
your house.
know.
You didn't hear that?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh
Uh,
well.
what did you think of like the like addition of Superman being in here? Like, do you think it was needed? Do you think it added value to it, or was it just a cameo just to
Um,
let people know
I
Superman's gonna be in this movie?
I think it kind of like was just the arc that Kara's supposed to go on. Like it ultimately ends with her going back to Earth and like
Mm-hmm.
reconnecting with him and like, no, I'm gonna stay this time. So I feel like if you just had that at the end, that's okay, I guess. But like I think the little additions here and there of just him on the call being like, hey, come back, like please come back, like wanting for her to come back. I think that added kind of to her like disheveledness almost at the start, where it's like like yes, she's drunk and a loner, but she's also kind of running from responsibility. Like it's not like she doesn't have anyone reaching out to her, like trying to help her, like Clark. So I did like that, and he was kind of funny in his moments too when she opens up the spaceship and he's like, oh, you don't. I'm Clark. Oh, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm Clark. Why am I talking louder?
Yeah,
That was that stuff was funny.
that was funny. Which is also it was also funny too because he said that and he continued to keep speaking. I remember I was like looking around. I was like, why did he already established that she doesn't understand and he keeps speaking English and he keeps talking? I don't know. I don't know what he thought was she's gonna suddenly start to understand English in that moment.
Yeah. What did you think of
But
Superman?
no, I thought it was good. I was worried too. Like they kept showing him. I was like, please don't have him show up. Like I like
Too
that
much,
child.
yeah.
Wait, no, just like show up like in person, like in present time. I
Oh,
was
and like
like,
save the day and
yeah, like that 101 on how to undermine your hero. Have
yeah.
someone else save her when she needs help. I was like, please don't have him show up. This is gonna make her look so whack. But he didn't, which is good. But I was worried just because we kept getting so many flashbacks. I thought it was like gonna lead to him popping up. But
hmm
yeah, I was just curious what your thoughts were on him showing
She
up
does get
or being
saved
in
to
there.
a degree, but I think it's with a character in the movie. Like when she's on the green sun planet, like and
Yeah.
she's dying from that, and then Ruthie comes and helps her. Again, I'm gonna quabble with the writing because Ruthie comes and saves her, and then
Mhm.
they have this whole heart to heart. She's like, you know, you are a good person. You're not perfect, but you're good, and like blah blah blah. But the last time Ruthie saw Kara was after that fight when she stops Ruthie from killing Krem, and she yells at her. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to be anything like you. Why are you doing this? Like you suck." Basically, she's
Mhm.
like, I'm not messing with you." And then nothing happens between then and when Ruthie saves her. So what was the big thing? How was she like, "No, you're good. You're great. Like you're a good person. You just 5 minutes ago said you hate her. Like what everything was so unearned. It just made no sense. Like the writing just how did you get from here to here? We didn't see anything.
Yeah. No, you're right. And that is a good point too. Like we didn't get a moment with Ruthie where she like had time to reflect and and someone say something or like to her that made her think about her parents. She had a flashback of, like an argument she had with her mom or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there was none of that. We didn't get any of that. It's just quick flips. And sometimes I always wonder like if these things exist and they're just like they're cutting them out because they're like, hey, it's a kids movie. You know what I mean? But like I feel like they mismatch sometimes with like their audience because they got to realize like their hardcore fans are still like the people that are like
Us.
25 to 30
Yeah.
plus watching these movies. So you can't get too kiddie. You got to do the Pixar thing, man. You got to be able to keep it simple but also have some complexity to it because like you've been growing this fan base since like the 60s. I don't know
Yeah.
those people are still watching, but but there's been you have a huge audience. You can't just always resort back to, well, these are kid movies, so we're gonna make them, like, nah, dog. Like this, the people that grew up watching them are bringing their kids to watch it, and they're excited to
Right.
watch it too. So it's like you can't make it too.
And
Like,
I don't really even have a. I'm not saying it needs to be more complex. I just think it needs to be earned. Like I think of like F1 for example from last year. We love that movie. That plot is basic as hell.
mhm.
You know, like an old guy and a young guy, and they're fighting each other, and then they have this arc, and then they come together and team up and work together. But like there's steps along the way where you see how they got from point A to point B. In this like in this movie, there just isn't that. So like whenever that these things happen where someone like Ruthie saves her and says, "No, you're good," I'm like, "Oh, I'm watching a movie that was
Yeah.
written." You know what I mean? Where I'm like, because I I just can't see how they got from here to here. So it almost like opens my eyes. Like, yeah, this is an actor reading lines because this was a written story. And I mean, it's a it's a Kryptonian alien flying around like killing people. Like I know it's a written story. I know it's fiction, but like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can't immerse yourself in the world because there are things that are happening that just don't make sense.
Yeah, and I guess when I say complexity, I don't mean like it's got to be like a Nolan type movie.
Yeah.
I literally just mean like the simple complexity of like literally, because I think there's movies that have that, like when they're just like, you know what, this is just like a fun movie. That character doesn't have to earn that, and sometimes we can just turn off our brain and be like, yeah, whatever. It's just like a fun action movie or fun comedy
Sure.
movie. And I feel like that's where they leaned with this movie, where it's like, it's a fun action movie. It's like, no, but you still gotta do the things though. You still gotta do the things like you said, that like have these characters earn these moments, have these characters go through struggles, because no matter if it's a human, if it's a frog, if it's a toy, if it's a car, you know what I mean? That's how Pixar gets us. They have these objects and these fishes and all these things.
Yeah.
They still have these they go through human emotions and go through these human steps. You always need to have those things. That's what can make us connect to freaking, like I said, cars and monsters and
Yeah.
and fishes and, you know, and toys. Even though they're not actually, like, oh man, like I feel bad for that toy. Like they left, Andy left them. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Right.
it's a toy, dude. Like, relax. But
Yeah.
nah, you get lost in it because it's like you attach yourself to the human emotion. But like, yeah, when they skip those steps, you then, like you said, you go like, okay, I guess this is just, they're just trying to make an action movie. They're not trying to do
Yeah.
anything.
And if you want to do that, you can do that, but then the action's got to be outrageous.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
there's some of the action in this movie is actually really good. I think like Lobo riding around on the motorcycle, like he's got the blade on the chain thing, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The big fight that they have in the city with the all the girls, there's some good action, like Ruthie
Yeah.
hanging off the wire, like saving herself, and Krem coming down. Like there is some good action, but there's literally two moments of them. The rest of the
Yeah.
movie is them like looking for Krem, and if there was a bunch of twists and turns of like, oh, this character, you know, like went behind their back and like led them here, and then flipped on them. That happens once with those like the bartenders where they're like, oh no, we're gonna help you out, we're gonna find this guy, and then we realize that they're giving Ruthie and Kara up to save their own daughter. So that is one flip that like I saw coming a little bit, but like it was still like a nice little twist that I enjoyed. Was a little wrinkle in the story, but for other than that, it's pretty linear. Just like, okay, we get here, we run into someone on this bus, and now we got to fight them, and then we go to this bar and we run into more people, and now we got to fight them, and like that's just boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I just find
it's
it pretty
fair.
boring.
No, you're right. Like, yeah, they didn't really do anything. Like, to your point, like that was like the little flip where it's like, okay, like, can we trust them? I think they leaned on it for too long. Where I was like, okay, yeah, we can't trust them. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like they're just very sketch. It wasn't even like they pretended to be like non-sketch. They're like, oh, just wait in the room, don't worry. It's like, yeah, he's gonna be here soon.
he's
It's
coming.
just
Yeah,
like,
he's coming. Yeah,
yeah. And then she's like, huh, I'm gonna check on them. Like, they said the friend was gonna be there. I'm like, okay, I
yeah,
guess like we're just gonna keep talking about how it's sketch, and like, so it is sketch. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, they keep mentioning that it is, this is something kind of weird, and then it is. So it kind of takes the juice out of it. Versus like if they were just like, they seemed nice the whole time and like it was not sketchy at all, then they flipped. Then it'd be like, oh snap. But there were,
Hmm.
it always felt sketchy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So you're right. It takes a little bit of the juice out, but I appreciated that they at least
Yeah,
there was a
no, for
little bit of a
sure.
wrinkle there.
No, I do
Um,
too.
my last kind of like little question, I guess, is like when they get into bar. Kara and Ruthie,
Mhm.
they get into the bar and they're looking for Krem on this planet. And she agrees to arm wrestle this guy for the information, right?
Yes.
And she just breaks his arm. I'm like, why would you do that? You're like, you need this information. Like, he agreed. Maybe he would have gone, like, he was just lying and he wouldn't have given you the information anyways, sure. But, like,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you at least try? Just beat him in the arm wrestling match and get the information. Why would you just snap his arm and beat everybody up in this room? That doesn't help you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she just didn't like the way they were treating her, I guess. I don't know. I agree. It was funny because we all knew what was about to happen. They're all underestimating her. She's like this
Mm-hmm.
tiny girl. But I thought I was giving her the grace. I was like, she knows her own strength though. Maybe she hasn't been using it in a while, but she's like, oh, that guy's a little stronger than I thought. So he actually gave some pushback, and then I just completely took the top part of his arm off. I thought he would just go. But no, that's not the case. He just broke
Yeah.
his arm.
It just kind of pissed me off where I was like, why would you write her into the scene where she's looking for information? Her whole motivation is like, I need to get to this guy so I can get the antidote, save my dog. And for a moment, she's just like, screw that. I'm going to break this guy's arm and beat everyone up in here. That doesn't, what? I hated at so many points in this movie. I'm just like, why would you do this? This doesn't make sense. And I hate that.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It is a good point because yeah, in the end she got information, but not from any of those people.
Yeah.
But yeah, did that guy give her anything?
No.
Did he like whimper something off at the end? Like I felt like
no, there was that was when she just ran in, like she beats everyone up in the bar, and then Lobo steps in, and that's like his introduction. And then she like fakes being all stupid.
Yeah. Like
and she gets the information later on Krem when she sees the guy that was talking to the bartender.
Oh yeah.
That's where she gets the information on where to find Krem. And she talks to the bartender, and they're like, "Oh, we can find you. We can get Krem to come to you. We can get the brigands to come to you." So like everyone else in this bar, she was asking for information. They had that information, and she just decided to not care.
Just an excuse to get into an action sequence. That's all.
Which is just lazy writing.
Yeah,
it's just bad writing.
Yeah, and to your point too, not even showing it on screen too.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of got Ruthie just like this, and it was just happening in the background. So it's like, all right, we don't got the budget.
Save some money here. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. The last point I had too, because you said that was your last point. Actually, I liked the uses of the different suns. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like whenever you get into like a Superman world movie where it's just like these guys are so overpowered. Like, how do we neutral the playing ground? It's either we get somebody that's a god to fight him, or it's like you get Lexi just using all the kryptonite and stuff like that. So just the fact that there's the suns, where she's like, oh, there's moments where there's not like an orange sun or a red sun she can get her strength from. So like she's neutral in those moments. She's still kind of strong, but she doesn't have all of her stuff. And then the use of like the green sun, where it's like that's just basically the kryptonite. So just having that a balance where she just wasn't full strength the whole time. There's moments when she was just kind of normal, I think was a creative way of doing that throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't really have anything to add to it, but I agree. Yeah, just throwing in the difference because you're right. Like, how else do you nerf these guys? They're so OP.
Yeah, exactly. You need some element of kryptonite or something that like just lowers their levels, so it just becomes not like, okay, like we know until a god pulls up or something that no one's even like rivaling them at all, or they just have like a chunk of kryptonite with them somehow.
Yeah. I also didn't know when like her dad explains to her is like when the planet exploded and we broke off, like that released kryptonite from the planet, and I was like, oh, is that what kryptonite is? I didn't even know that. It's like loose shards from the planet, I guess.
I did know that, but I've never heard of the story of like that, them all dying. Like I thought they all just died straight up from the original thing. Like I didn't even know there was like another part where like they popped up and then they all died from that. So that I didn't know. I think I heard that thing just from like watching another episode of like Justice League or something. That new information sounded familiar, but the whole for them breaking off, I was like, oh, there's another existence that of them, and then they later on died all anyway. But I didn't realize that was that origin of Supergirl. So
yeah,
we both learned something.
Yeah. Well, if that's all you got, then it's time for the Filmmies, my friend.
Let's get into it. Yes, it's that time of the show. It's time for the Filmmies, and this is part of the show that Scott talked about earlier, where we give out 6 awards to the movie we just watched. And I don't know if you heard the dog barking. Did you hear the dog? Did you hear Chumba barking?
Yeah, crypto.
Yeah, it's Crypto. He's excited for the Filmmies. He told me. I actually wrote down his Ferris Bueller, so I'll say it after I say mine.
Okay,
But
nice.
first, let me know what your Ferris Bueller is.
Okay,
aka our lazy award.
Yeah, lazy award. It's kind of funny. Like, I'm ripping this writer because I gave it to Anna Noguera, who is the writer, and I talk about just like I did not like the writing of this movie, but like this is a specific one. It's more of like kind of like just a funny thing, but so Kara gets on the bus, right?
Yeah.
Her ship gets stolen. She gets on the bus, and the guy sitting beside her is like leaning on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes a joke about like, oh, you got some bad breath or whatever, like get off me, whatever. Ruthie then gets on the bus and asks like, hey, can you move over so I could sit beside her, my friend? And he's like, yeah, sure. I was like, wait, what the? There's 3 seats on this bus, and he just took the middle one. Like that? What? Like nobody does that. So I was like, I assumed it was like a school bus situation, like a 2 and 2 on each side. And then I was like, wait a second, this guy sat in the middle seat, left the window open, right next to Kara. That just nobody's ever doing that ever. So the only reason you did that is it's just a lazy setup for a lame bad breath joke, and I just find that lazy.
No, that's good. I thought you were gonna give it to the guy for a second. I was like, he was too lazy to move all the way to the window seat.
I suppose you could do that too, sure.
No, that's a great pick. Oh shoot, damn.
Oh,
my Fight
There
Club
goes the
poster
poster.
just fell. That's crazy. Let me see if I can throw that back up quickly and then give my reaction. Okay, no, it's not staying up. It's just down.
See a Fight Club.
Yeah.
Hey, we still got the DC poster on the other
exactly.
side.
We got to set the DC poster on the other side. That scared the shit out of me. But
you forget where we're at? School bus.
Oh yeah, school bus. Yeah. No, that's a great pick. I'll just give you props. That's a great pick.
Yeah, just when he moved over, I was like, wait, what? There's another seat there? No, what? That didn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. Good pick. My Ferris Bueller I gave to Ruthie's parents.
Okay.
And it's for not letting their son know what's going on. Not letting their kids know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like Krem comes, they're all shook, they know what's about to happen. This guy's evil, to prepare for it. Let the son, I'm just saying this because the son ended up dying. You know what I mean? He's just in his room jamming the music, trying to scare his sister, and then he gets a knife in the back. Like, let your kids know, like, hey, a bad guy is here. Stay quiet. Don't leave your room. You know what I mean? He would be alive.
Yeah.
they all
probably
might be
would
alive.
Be too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you like? Go talk to your kid. What do you mean? Like, your kids aren't safe if you keep them in the dark. There's a freaking monster in the freaking house. Like, hey, go hide. Don't come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a really good point, actually. I didn't really think of it because I kind of like chalked it up to like they're trying to kind of just protect their kids from this whole reality of the situation. They're like, okay, he's gonna come in here, go get the weapons. Like we're just gonna give him what he wants. He'll come in, he'll get his weapons, he'll leave. Like we don't even have to worry about that. But you're right. Like they had some time. Like when the ship lands, like they kind of look at each other and they ask themselves, like, what are we gonna do? Here he is, and they're like, let's quickly run over and like make sure the kids know what's going on. Maybe Alfonso is jamming the music and he doesn't know and he's gonna like get into some trouble. Like, this is a tense situation. You want to double check kind of that your kids are
That's
good.
all I'm saying.
It's good.
I
That's
feel
good
like your immediate run would be to the kids and be like, yo, this is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stay in your room. Don't come out. This guy's dangerous. But like, they just let that boy jam in his room and then you end up with a knife in his back.
Yeah, and then they died for it too because she got pissed and went after him. Did she even have a knife on her? She must have. But I mean, hey, motherly instinct, I suppose.
I guess so. And now I'll give my honorary Ferris Bueller, which I'll just say is Chumba's Ferris Bueller because I made that joke earlier. And I'm giving it to the DC PR team.
Okay.
For not giving Millie media training. I don't think this media run was as bad. Like, I don't know if you're even aware of this. I'd be like, there's been a lot of bad like things coming out. Not like I shouldn't say bad, just like things that aren't great. You know what I mean? Like clearly,
Okay.
like Millie wasn't much of like a superhero fan, stuff like that. So she just answered a lot of questions that were just kind of just like, oh yeah, I never didn't really watch Super. I was like, and she even mentioned how I was like, oh, did they give you media training? She's like, oh no, we didn't really like go through that. Like I just been doing this press run, just answering questions honestly. I'm like, you can do that. I think most actors, so you'd be able to do that in other things. When you attach yourself to a Marvel and a DC or a Star Wars, you can't answer any question. You can't answer any questions honestly, to be honest, because
Yeah.
if you disrespect a character or say you didn't watch that movie or whatever, you're gonna piss off the fans immediately. And she went a little, unfortunately, she went a little bit down that rabbit hole. So I think even though maybe people weren't crazy about this movie, I think that is just something that people were looking to hate on. So there's a whole section of the internet that's just like, oh, look at her. She said this, she said this. Where I'm like, come on, guys, you got to media train these people. Like, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, tell them exactly what questions to answer, how to answer them, and what questions to avoid, because it's not, they don't want you to be genuine. The fans are just waiting to attack.
Yeah. I mean, even I feel like that's just common sense almost. If they're like, I'm not really aware exactly of the questions that you're talking about, but like if it's stuff like, what do you like? Are you a fan of DC? And she's like, I'm not actually really a big superhero fan. Just lie. Just be like, oh yeah, love superheroes. They're cool. Like you're playing Supergirl. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're right, and she didn't necessarily say like that. There's a couple of them. Again, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to give too much energy to that nonsense because I don't really care. Like literally, she said like I don't really like superhero movies. I don't care that much. Where I'd be like, she's a dumb bitch or whatever it is. I'm not watching the movie. Like I don't care. Like if the movie's good, I don't even care if she's a fan of it. Like Patterson wasn't a Batman fan. He never seen a Batman movie. He said before.
Yeah,
but he still killed it in the role.
Yeah, if you kill the role and it's a good movie, then I don't care what you do on your personal time. What movies you watch.
I don't think Christian Bale was a Batman fan before. I think he said that on record. So like it doesn't matter. If it's really good, whatever. But yeah, you're right though. There is a little bit of common sense, but maybe that common sense because we know these spaces. She's a girl from Australia. She's doing House of Dragon and stuff like that. And like this is her first like movie. She was doing TV before. And if she's not familiar with this world, she said she didn't grow up watching like any superhero stuff. So maybe it's just like I don't really know. I didn't really know what these fans were about. Now she's knowing what these fans are about.
Yeah. But I mean, if you were in House of Dragon, you'd be like, hey, like, what'd you think of Game of Thrones? But never seen it. No idea. Like, you just wouldn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? You'd just be like, yeah, it's a great show. I love it.
But I'm just giving the hate on the PR team because she said that she never got any media training. Like, they never said anything of her to her. So I'm like, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You're a leading star. There should be someone in her being like, hey, we think that you shouldn't say these things, but just so you know, just don't say these things. She'd be like, oh, thank you. I won't say those things.
You're right.
So that's my honorary. That's Chumba's.
Yeah.
That's what
because he's a big DC fan. He hated her answers, so he's like, "Come on, PR team, you got
exactly.
Got to prep her."
He also didn't like the way they did Krypton in that movie. He was like, came to the movie to see a dog, and they all took him out immediately.
Yeah, true. He wasn't. Yeah, the fact that he wasn't like part of the movie really. He was the whole motivation for the movie.
Yeah,
but like he wasn't that much a part of it, which is not really what I expected. Which is fine, I guess. They went with the Guardians 3 plot. You gotta save your friend, but then in doing so, that friend cannot be part of the movie because they're incapacitated. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think a lot of her appeal was like, oh, her and her like little dog sidekick is cool. But I guess Krypto was a kind of like Superman's sidekick in the last movie. So like, do we need to do that again?
That's true. Ironically, well, not ironically, but it's based off of like the comic books and stuff like that. Her actually sidekick is a cat.
Oh.
Yeah, but I guess they just didn't want to introduce a pet animal. Because Supergirl is a pet cat, and then Superman's supposed to have the pet dog. That's how like they were different from each other. But they just didn't want to do the cat thing. The cat doesn't exist in this world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
James Gunn doesn't like cats.
Maybe.
Actually, actually, I actually did see a quote from him saying that. He's like, if my cat had a superpower, I'd be the only one that'd be alive left. just knowing how cats are, you know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah,
it's just kill everybody except him because this guy feeds me, so I'll keep him alive. But
okay.
But that's my fairest. Next award we have self-explanatory. We have the fit check. So who gets your fit?
I gave it to Lobo. Just his look, the gray skin, like the cigar. I thought his weapon, like the blade on the chain, the bike, the hair, like it's just a nasty look. He just looks cool. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
No, it's a great pick. I actually saw a cool little thing where he talked about in an interview is like, because he said he's always wanted to be Lobo, and when he first was auditioning to be in the DC world, he didn't think he would. It was for Aquaman. He thought they were gonna get him to be Lobo, and he
Hmm.
was like, so he was really gassed about finally being able to do it, and he was like, okay, let's figure out the whole cigar situation. Did you see any of this or no?
No, no.
Okay, so they're like, okay, we're gonna have to. He's have to have like the massive cigar. So like he went to his cigar shop because he's a cigar guy, and he's like, give me the biggest cigar that you have. And apparently, what did he say it was called? He's like, it was called the oh, what was the name of the cigar? I can't even. Oh, it's called the Super Mario for whatever reason.
Okay,
The
nice.
largest cigar they have is called the Super Mario. So he bought it, brought it to the props guy, and was like, recreate this because obviously I'm not going to be smoking these things or else I'd be dead.
Yeah,
I just pass out. So like they took that, they recreated it, and it like a digital version. And like when he's puffing, like that's actually him. Like he puffs, smoke actually comes out, and when it turns red, it's based off his like actually like an inhale. So he's like, I thought that was a little cool touch, like because they could have done all that in post. But they're like,
yeah.
no, let's actually have like a physical thing that like when I every time you see me puff, it's real smoke, and every time you see me puff, and that red thing comes up, like that's actually me because you see it a lot every time you
Hmm.
see him, basically.
Yeah,
So I thought that
yeah.
was just
That's
cool, that little cool attention to detail.
I didn't realize he was such a cigar guy. But that almost goes to my point earlier, where I'm saying he's literally just playing himself.
Yeah, hundred
He's literally
percent.
just in makeup playing himself. And I obviously, well, I'm assuming that Jason Momoa doesn't murder people for money.
Yeah, for money.
But other other than that, he's literally just playing himself. So that's pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. Great pick. My fit check I gave to Zor-El, which is Kara's dad, Supergirl's dad,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's for his funeral fit.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I struggled a little bit because I was like, I don't know what I'm seeing here, but it's kind of like he has like this white, it's almost like a graduation gown, like that's like the base of it, and it's got like a gold trim, and it looked like he had like a button up under it, and that button up had like a gold trim on it too, and then on top there was like this it was like a quilted, like it almost looked like a blanket. He had one on one shoulder, one on the other shoulder. It came down both, and they're at a funeral, but you just look clean. I don't know, it
Yeah.
look fresh. They don't wear all black;
Okay.
they
Yeah.
wear all white, and I like the white and the detail on top with the gold trim. I just thought it looked good.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, you got to show up for your wife's funeral. You can't show up,
Yeah,
wearing pajamas. So you
no,
gotta you gotta wear a nice fit. Those I will say those coffins were cool. The design of the
yeah,
coffins, I
no,
like
it's
that.
true.
That
I
was
do
cool.
agree.
But
Yeah, yeah,
but also like, so I was kind of wondering this. So they bring this coffin into like this big room, and there's a whole bunch of them, right? And that's where they find Crypto like digging in a. Is he digging
yeah.
in a coffin? Is he like eating a person? Like, what is he doing?
Yeah. It's also funny to believe that like the planet got destroyed basically, and like there's only like a subsection of the race that's left, and
Hmm.
somehow there's like just a stray dog on there.
I get. Well, I think the way because like he activates this whole force field, right, or whatever,
Yeah.
and then we see it like come down in a dome and kind of like cut through the ground in this big
Yeah.
circle. So I think it's basically like if you made it in there in time, you're good, and if you're not, you're not. So like if crypto was just in that circle at that time.
That's fair. I don't know. I guess I'm just skeptical in the sense of like we're in this limited space that is obviously like I don't know what the size of it is. Like what are we guessing? Like is this like a city? Would this be like a Toronto size place, or is it like a whole country?
Mm,
Like how much of people got to survive?
no, I think it's. I don't think it's. I think
It's
it's
like a
probably like
city.
I don't even think Toronto. I think it's smaller than that. Like
That's my
downtown
point
Toronto,
though,
maybe.
because when that happened and Superman got sent off, she was like, that was 8 years before I was born. So like she would have been like what, like 16 at that point. How I'm saying my point is how is there stray dogs? No one would be that. I feel like all the dogs would have just owners. There would be no strays. I feel like because there's such a small amount of people.
Well,
Everyone would have.
maybe it was it. Crypto belonged to or Crypto's parents probably because I don't think if that was 8 years after he's born and then if she's like 20 right now, Crypto would be. I mean, he's a Kryptonian dog. Maybe they live longer. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like he had an owner And then when this whole planet exploded, right?
They
Like that,
died.
they said like the whole city and everything like ran into like poverty and people were
Mm,
sick and everything. So like I think it makes sense that like his owner died or didn't have the funds to keep up with
that's
him,
fair.
so just kind of let him go. And
That's
yeah,
fair. Yeah, well, that's fair. I'll take that. I'll take that.
okay, all right.
Next we have is quote. So who gets your favorite quote?
I gave it to Kara, and it's in the flashback of her home city planet, and she says it to her dad when he's gonna like send her off to save her, and she says, "I am one tiny life. What does it matter if I live or die?" And I just think that was interesting because it clearly shows like such a stark difference from her and Superman. Like it differentiates them completely. Superman, someone who saves every little squirrel in
Mhm.
town, like every single person. He's like, no matter if there's a mouse on the ground, like he's gonna save them. If there's a giant monster, like in his movie, the again spoiler warning for if you haven't seen Superman, the giant kaiju, like everyone's just trying to kill him, and he's like, no, 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 I can take him somewhere else. Like he wants to save people, and in this line, she's like, even myself, I'm just one life. Who cares? Like I just think that it was a great way of differentiating the two, even though it's like it's her movie, but like it's so she's so directly tied to Superman that this was a good way of kind of being like, this is the line between these two people.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think there's a part of me too, even with you saying that, like almost wishes me that like she wasn't like fully formed at the end of this movie. It kind of feels like she's rounded off to be like a whole new person, which is like
Mm-hmm.
now when she interacts with Superman, is there even going to be a contrast anymore? Are they just going to be the
Yeah, I
same
don't know.
person? Like, is she still gonna? I hope she. It sounds fucked up to say. I hope she still struggles. Just, just in the sense to get some contrast. I just need a Superman and then a female Superman. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I
Yeah,
want
what's the
some
point?
different. Yeah, I want some different things where maybe she's a little reckless and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you're about to kill that thing." And she's like, "Why does it matter? It's just a squirrel." Like, I hope I guess still get that aspects of it where it's
Yeah,
just like we'll see that she's
we'll
gonna be in the
see.
next one, the next Man of Steel or Man of Tomorrow movie they're making.
Well, I will say I I don't think she's just going to be Superman because she does kill Krem at the end.
Oh yeah, true. That is true. Which I
Superman
think
wouldn't do
is
that.
important. Yeah, well, I think that was an important thing because there was a lady beside me. She's like, "What? I thought she was like good now." I'm like, "No, this is good." I didn't say that to
Yeah.
her,
What
but
do you
I'm
mean? I
like,
thought she was good. This guy's terrible. Kill him.
yeah, that there's that too. But also, I think that people just used to be like, "Wait, what? I thought superheroes aren't supposed to kill people." But I'm like, no,
Mm,
this is what makes her different. Like
yeah.
she will kill, which that's not good for you, Lex. just to let you know that, like, if you hear about it,
True.
you
If he
might
takes
get.
crypto again,
Oh yeah, might get your
yeah,
head squeezed, bro.
he's in trouble.
But no, it's a good quote. I like that reasoning for the quote too. It's good. My quote, I went the funnier route, and my dad will appreciate this because we both laughed at this. It was just like a stupid little joke. The
Nice.
little small alien, like on the space bus. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was kind
yeah.
of like the assistant that was sitting there with the guy. I don't even know what he
Yeah.
was doing. Like the one guy was actually driving the bus. He was just kind of sitting there. I don't know if he
Yeah, true. He's
actually would
collecting
value.
fares.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
dropping dimes, dropping jokes. I don't
yeah,
know.
I guess
He's the
so.
translator.
Yeah, perhaps. When I first heard him, I thought that like that dude kind of sounds like Seth Rogen, and
It's Seth Rogen.
I looked at his stuff. He
Yeah.
didn't get a credit though. He was uncredited, so I had to go look and found like an article that was like, yeah, the friend of the director. So he did like a little quick cameo thing where he
Yeah.
just did, and I was like, okay, I was like, yeah, I felt like I know Seth Rogen's
Yeah,
voice,
he's got a pretty
but
distinct voice.
he does have a distinct voice, like very like raspy kind of,
Yeah.
and
And especially
yeah.
if he doesn't laugh in this movie, but he has a distinct
Oh
laugh
yeah,
too.
if he laughed, it was yeah, exactly. Seth, everyone in there listening is like, "Wait, did Seth Rogen just make a cameo in this too?"
Yeah. Oh, was that
Yeah,
good? Was that a good?
that was good. That was
Nice.
good.
Nice.
So it's when Kara is like, she sees the peak of the sun, and she's like, "Oh man, like, is there any way that you can move the ship a little bit?" And he's like, "I would, but I have no engine and I have no balls."
Yeah.
Just like, just a
Yeah.
stupid ass line that I was just not expecting, and I was like, "What? No engine and no balls." I was like, "All right," but
Like
that just made
like
me laugh.
it's funny because like, yeah, you have no engine, so you can't move. Get it. if you had balls, what would that change?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Which is just that was the
Yeah.
moment me and my dad just like we audibly laughed because it was just so like I didn't expect that at all. I wasn't expecting a joke at all. Like we're in a serious moment.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna get the sun? So that's perfect comedic timing.
But at the same time, you get
Unexpected.
Seth Rogen in your movie.
That is,
You're
but
not
we didn't know.
gonna
I didn't know that was Seth Rogen.
fair.
I wasn't sure, so I was
Yeah.
like, but I should have expected it. And then after that
Yeah.
moment, I was like, okay, every time this guy opens his mouth, I'm expecting a joke to be
a
said.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
But
pick.
yeah,
That's funny.
little small spaceman. He has no name. I was literally like searching the internet to see if I could find a name. I kept getting small alien, but
Yeah.
shout out small
Oh.
alien.
Small alien guy.
Yeah, shout out Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Yeah. Reth Sogan. Maybe that's his name.
Yeah. Next, we have our 6-man, aka our. You heard me mess this up a couple times.
I did, bro. I was listening to the Toy Story episode. And you were like, "Man, Scott's gonna kill me for this because I always mess this up."
Keldon.
You gotta just write it
Keldon
down,
Johnson.
Bro.
It's Keldon Johnson. It's because
That's
it's
right.
not. I'm so used to saying all the other ones. Keldon Johnson Award. This award gives out because he's this reigning 6-man in the NBA right now, and this award goes out to someone that just showed out in their small moments. So Scott, who gets your 6-man?
It's who you were just talking about. I gave it to Seth Rogen, bro.
Okay.
It's for the little alien on the bus. It was as a big part is your quote. I have it written down here. It was like you should see because I think you said the same. It's the same quote, but like I think I wrote it down like a little more exactly, and I think it like actually makes it a little bit better.
Okay,
He was like, "Yeah, could you move? Could you to the sun?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. If I had an engine or some balls, but I haven't either." So.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. And even just when she immediately opens the door to the bus and the guy like says "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and then he's like he said welcome aboard and have a seat. And she's like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't say that. Like, we know we don't speak whatever that language that guy was speaking, but he didn't say that.
Yeah.
he was funny, so he gets my 6-man.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great pair. Yeah, and that's a tough thing too, because like I laughed at it, then I was like, I don't know if this is the exact same thing, but the engine and the balls part is like I remembered. So that stuck with me and that made me laugh. So I'm glad that he got your 6-man because it was well deserved and he showed up in a small moment. It was a great pick. My character like that I went with Lobo, and I was like, is he really a 6-man? I was like, he's kind of not in. He's not in it enough that I feel like it still works because he's not a main character, and he's in and out. So, I was
saying before that I think he's in enough. Like it was a perfect appetizer for him.
Yeah.
So I think if it's just an appetizer, I think he qualifies.
That's what I was thinking, and I always just thought it was a cool character. It really just like stems from the game and like playing the storyline stuff like that, and. I just always thought it was an intriguing character. Now, like this would be like a fun character. Like I think he would exist. Like I was thinking about like the world that we were in before when we had like Alcock as Batman stuff like that. I think he definitely could have worked in that world. And I was like, when this movie came out, I was like, oh, I guess they're gonna do it. How are they gonna get dark, or is he gonna be like? He's always been comedic, but I wasn't sure how they were gonna handle it. And I like the way they handle it in this. So it was just mostly just me being excited that he was in here. And I think I mentioned earlier that. Momoa was like a great fit for it. It's just like, some people are just born for the roles.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what he does in the future.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure Momoa will come back and be this guy, and like I just think he is low. Like you said, there's different directions you could take with it, but like with the Lobo that I know, that's kind of like a cocky guy and kind of just like does his own thing. Like I think Momoa totally works for that. He's kind of like eccentric. He's kind of like playful too. Like he's roasting Kara, but then when she roasts him back, like when they start in that fight, like, oh, aren't you that ditz from that dive bar? And she's like, oh, funny, that's what I've been calling you. And he's just like, ha, touche. Like it's that just totally works for this character. I think 100%. I think it's perfect.
100%. Yeah. Next award we have is self-explanatory. Favorite scenes. What was the best scene?
I gave it to that first big fight scene with the brigands when Lobo joins in. I think it was a really fun fight. They drop. Lobo comes around. That was cool. Like the shot of him on his motorcycle, cutting all the cords, dropping all those containers with the girls in them. There was a bit of a twist, like we were talking about with like the bar owners who set her up
Yeah.
to save her daughter, which then added that little wrinkle in that like uh the what was the guy's name, the big bad guy,
Oh, Krem.
Krem. That Krem was like, okay, no, now you went back on our word, so now she's got to die, which isn't actually true. She did. You're like, oh, she doesn't look very poisoned. She's a Kryptonian. They did
Yeah.
poison her, but like she's just too strong. But anyways, so now that's like an added wrinkle to this scene. It's not just a big fight. They also have to save this girl, and then Ruthie's in there and she's trying to get to Krem. So there's like a lot of moving parts to this that I was actually really interested in, and it was a fun fight. So my favorite scene.
It's a great scene, and that's why it was also my favorite scene. Oh,
Oh, there we go.
okay. A little
There we
delay,
go.
but
My
we're there.
bad.
We're there.
My
We're there.
bad.
Still,
Yeah, there
we're
we go.
back. We're back, and we already got it certified. It's good.
That's
good
right.
news. We're back on track.
Let's go.
Yeah, you said a lot of the points that I was gonna say, and I think the thing that I'll add to it is just the fact that Krem showing how dangerous he was. You know what I mean? Because like there's one thing like where sometimes they put villains in a box, so they put them in these tough situations where like they talk all this bad stuff, and then when it comes to them like actually about to, like to do what they said, they're like, "Oh, how dare you do that?" And like, they don't actually do anything. But he killed the parents and he killed the kid, and I was like, "Oh, this guy actually means business." Like
Mhm.
if you do him wrong, he'll mess you up. Like in the opening scene, we got that, but I was like, okay, like that's just like them showing that he's bad. But like halfway through the movie, it's like you said you were gonna poison her, it didn't work out, boom, and also I'm gonna take your daughter, which I was like that one I really didn't expect. Where I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this guy's actually dangerous. Like don't mess with him. When he says something bad's gonna happen, it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I will say, like, when that's why, like, I was really scared for Ruthie when she was in the prison, and then Krem comes in, and she's like spits in his face. I was like, is he just about to kill her right now?
Yeah.
Like, why isn't he? I guess he comes out and he says like, this one dies today. That may be a little bit of plot armor, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
I
I
was
didn't
scared
like.
for her.
Yeah, I know that I didn't like too because I was like, okay, they're doing this right. Because this is what that to my point. Like now, I'm not going against what I said, but I liked that section of it. But then we got to the end, I'm like,
Right.
this is the shit I don't like though. You just established this guy will kill people on sight. Someone spits in his face, and you're like, you'll die later. Why?
Yeah.
Why? What's your reason for killing her later? You just
Yeah.
killed everyone else on sight. Like,
Yeah.
it's just I hate it when they do shit like that, or just like when he has like a knife to someone's neck. I'm like, you already have killed people so quickly.
Mhm.
Like he didn't even do that with Supergirl. Why not? She's down. The Kryptonite's messing with her. Just do it. Why? Like it's just like you just make your villains look stupid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was not a good villain.
but I like the scene because it made him look dangerous.
Yeah,
They
you're
took
right.
all that shit away when
In that scene.
a little girl spits in his face and says, "Yeah, you're gonna get it later."
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's lame. You're
whatever.
right.
But
That's why that's
flat-
not our favorite scene.
Yeah, exactly. Last but certainly not least, we got MVP. So who gets your MVP?
I gave it to Eve Ridley, who plays Ruthie.
Hmm.
Like I said, I just really like that character. I was really impressed with her performance. I think she has actually like a real presence on screen and like projected a lot of confidence. Like I talked about how she never backs down from anything. I talk about why that was kind of weird in the opening scene that she was frozen, but like when she's in prison and crying that like, no, I'll submit to Krem, and then she kills the guy, like I didn't see it coming, but like she in her that's partly because of her performance. I'm like, no, she really like is sad and like will just give herself up right now. Like she's beaten down and she's lost. She's over it. And then when she flipped, I didn't see it coming. And like, and she's also going toe to toe with Jason Momoa in this scene when they're talking to each other, and he's cracking jokes like, "Oh, you can't even, you don't like." He's so calm because he's Lobo. He doesn't care. But like, she's trying to get out of this thing, and like, their back and forth was really strong. And I just think like her character was really cool. She was super cool. She was projecting all that confidence. Like, I am Ruthie of the Almada clan, and I'm here to avenge my parents, and blah blah blah. Like, I believed it at every step of the way. And she's like a little girl, so I was really impressed with the performance. I thought like Millie was good as Supergirl, so like I'm not giving her my MVP. So I went with Eve.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like I was slacking on Eve, to be honest. Like you making all these good points. I'm like, you know what? She was good. I guess I wasn't focusing my analysis on her. Like I was just like focusing like on Krem, Lobo, Supergirl, and just like the story and stuff like that. But I guess I overlooked her. You make a lot of good points, honestly. I didn't end up giving her my MVP, but now you're making me like rethink. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess she was good, but I guess I just
Yeah,
overlooked it because I was like I was like analyzing everything else. But no, that's a great
yeah.
pick.
I think it's almost like one of those things where like because it's good you don't notice it too much, like she's
Yeah,
not like overacting or anything like that, like but you believe the character so you can kind of just like let it go, like you just accept it as reality, but that's part of the value of it, right? So like when she comes back up on the top of the spaceship and was like there's a whole rooftop full of brigands, like she has no chance against these guys, she's still just like, no, I'm here to kick your ass, and I'm just like, hell
yeah,
yeah, Ruthie. And then she drops down and she's holding onto the cord and she's still fighting, and like I don't know, I just believed it every step of the way. I really liked how tough she was, and Eve, like as an actor, really embodied that. Like it wasn't just corny like I'm gonna fight you and like I
yeah,
won't back down, like I believed it.
yeah. No, it's a great pick. I guess I said I didn't end up giving it to her, but you make a lot of good points. So I don't know. I feel bad. I still like my
Oh,
MVP.
that's
I
fine.
ended up giving it to Millie Alcock,
Okay.
and my reasoning is like at first, like I think the performance was good. There are some things as we've talked about it, which I agree with, and then some odd points that you made that I'm like, yeah, I didn't see it that way. That I think a lot of the crutches from the movie comes from the writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I initially I'd say like I like the fresh take on Supergirl, which not necessarily isn't her, but I think a word you used earlier, which was believability, and there definitely has been times when I've watched certain um movies and stuff like that, or like shows where it's like someone's depicting the superhero and you're like, I don't know, that's not like the way I saw super like Spider-Man or Superman or whatever it is. Like I think about like as much as I like Andrew Garfield, like it just I never really liked that depiction of Spider-Man, sorry, and I didn't really like see him as Superman. It just didn't work for me. Ezra Miller as Flash, I didn't really like that
Mm-hmm.
depiction. Like there's been depictions where I'm like, even if I think the story, maybe the movie's good, I was like, I just don't really see this guy as the Flash or whatever it is. But seeing her as Supergirl, I was like, okay, this is the direction she was going, and to me it was believable. It was believable, and I think she makes like a strong presence on screen as this depicted character of Supergirl. So from that, I was never watching the movie where I was like, man, I don't know if she's Supergirl, because I know that's a big thing online too. A lot of people are like, and that's not the Supergirl that like that I wanted or that I imagined a Supergirl. But I'm like, when I saw her, I was like, no, it's perfect. I like this depiction. I think she plays it well. When she was doing the drunk acting, which is I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's probably like a weird thing, a hard thing to do, but I think she did that well. And so I wanted to give, and I heard she did a lot of her own stunts. So I saw an interview saying that she did majority of her stunts. Actually, she learned how to fight and all that stuff, and went through that whole process. So just give her some extra bumps for that. But she gets my
Mm-hmm.
MVP.
Yeah, no, I do think she was good. I think
Yeah,
I just think the writing around it was so bad in my opinion that like I didn't like the character so much that like that
yeah,
almost like just tarnishes my whole view of
yeah,
her as a, and that obviously isn't her fault. She's saying the lines that are put in front of her, and like so I think you're right, like the whole disheveled drunk thing at the start was an interesting take and she performed it well. I think the emotional beats too, like though like I said felt a little unearned, again not her fault, but I think she did well in those moments, like when she, and also like I think she played like the kind of like fish out of water confused thing, like when she first gets to earth and she's talking to Superman, she's just kind of like sitting, like it's so easily so ridiculous. You're, like as an actor in the real
hmm
world, you're sitting in this like little cup of hexagons and you're wearing
yeah.
this like tinfoil space suit or whatever, and you're talking to
Mhm.
this guy in his leotard or whatever. But like and she's holding, I don't know what she's actually holding because I don't
Yeah.
think it's an actual dog. Maybe
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
true.
I don't actually know, but like I just put myself in that situation. It's so weird that like I would be really awkward. So like, but I think she
Yeah.
was played really well. That like kind of like confusion, and then when she was alone in like the apartment listening to music, kind of like starting to let go, and like so there was a few different things that she had to do in this movie, and I think she did them really well. I just didn't like the
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And like again, like I never watched House of Dragon, and I was never like that really my thing. So like I know that she's not like a fresh actor or anything. She's been acting, and like she's in
Mhm.
like this a highly acclaimed show, and like she's one of like a big character in that show. So like she's definitely got the acting chops. But I think this was awfully a contrast because now she's coming in here with like learning a different like. It's always interesting that they do the whole the language thing, like having them like
Mm.
make up the language, having them actually speak in the tongue and actually having to learn it. I saw them say that too, which is just it probably feels so ridiculous
Yeah, it doesn't make any
to go through
sense.
that
I,
process.
I shouldn't say it doesn't make sense, but it's weird to me. Like, why do you have to like just learn the lines you have to say? Why do you need to learn the whole language?
Yeah,
I
I
guess it
don't know.
helps maybe with the delivery. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like you have to use it later and all this stuff, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, she gets my MVP. Yeah, shout
and
out
there it
Lily.
is. One certified. We got the
Yeah,
certified
we
best
back.
scene.
We back with the
Yeah.
certified. That's what matters.
Yeah, we back. I'm back in business. I'm happy to be back. I was
Hey.
excited to do this. Excited to see a movie again. I had missed out on some movies I was excited for, but I had more important things
Of course.
to deal with
Yeah.
at the time. But happy to be back. It's a
Happy
great
to have you
episode.
back.
Thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Be sure to give us a 5-star review if you liked the episode, and if you didn't. Even if this is you're like, I didn't like the episode, I'll never be back. Fair enough. Leave a 5-star review on your way out. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd love to get that review actually. Like just a 5-star review is like not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
not
but here,
not quite my
throw us a
tempo.
Nice little whiplash joke in
Yeah,
there
nice
for
little
the
whiplash
movie
joke,
lovers. Yeah. Check us out on socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit at the Film Room Pod. Be sure to join us next week for another great episode. Dion, take it away, my friend.
And remember, guys, I would help you guys out with moving this ship, but I have no engine and I have no balls. So,
Damn.
peace out.
Peace out.